I used the math skills that I had, the math knowledge and the skills, to put that painting up, and guess what? It's still up today. It's straight and everything. It took me a longer time. I needed more time than probably a professional would have needed, but I got the job done. So what I'm saying is this. We want kids to be able to take what they've learned in the classroom and apply it to their lives outside of the classroom. That's what learning should be about. That's what you're talking about, a culture of learning. Not just to pass the test, but to be able to sustain the quality of life, because you can do things for yourself, okay? All right, now, we're going to talk about those, these three components here: knowledge, skills, and dispositions. Knowledge is going to deal with more the know. The skill is the action stuff, and disposition deals more like with your belief and your attitude and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about those kind of things. Now, I actually did this, what they call storytelling, technology-wise. Because one thing I try to do is I like always learning, so I wanted to learn how to do more and more technology. So in one of my doctorate classes, we had to do a project, and we couldn't just write a paper. It had to be in story, digital storytelling. And actually, I'm not going to get a chance to play it, but actually in the storytelling, we had to come up with a philosophy that we believed in education. And my philosophy came from this. I had this aunt, and she could make the best butter pound cake that you could ever imagine in your life. And every year that we would go to our family reunion, everybody is trying to get to the dessert table to get a piece of that butter recipe or butter pound cake. So after eating that pound cake, people would go up to her and say, "Aunt so-and-so, how do you make that cake?" And my aunt would say, that's my secret. The next year they come back and they actually want another piece of cake. And they run up to my aunt and say, "Aunt, how do you make that cake? Please tell us so we can make it for ourselves." I can't share my secrets. And then went back another time for a family reunion. And we're going to the dessert table thinking, in our mind, we've already envisioned ourselves going to the dessert table to get a piece of that butter pound cake. And it's not there. And so immediately, "Where's Aunt so-and-so?" And somebody says, "Oh, you didn't know? She passed about 3 months ago." So we didn't have the pound cake. What did I just say to you? Oh, beautiful. Everybody give Linda a high five. She didn't transfer the knowledge. And so my philosophy actually was based in knowledge is really not power until you can transfer it. It becomes powerful when you can build capacity of the things that you learn. Knowledge is the transformation from one human expert to another. Now, let's talk about the difference between a teacher and an expert teacher. One, let's start with the good side, the expert teacher. The expert teacher will take a common assessment, formative, whatever, and will come up here, give it to Nigel. "Nigel, you give it back to me, some kind of form," and I see what Nigel has done and what she's kind of messed up on, and then I say, "Okay, Nigel, I think you'll come out better if blase, 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 blase," and then Nigel gets to correct some of the things to grow, and I'm not as much focused on the grade as I am on how she's learning and processing this. And then we came up with strategies together. We communicated and all of that. And now Nigel is one of the top students in the classroom because we have done this together. I found some things that really could help her get better, and she practiced those things, and we talked about it together, and we made sure that we were checking along the way that everything is helping. That's an expert teacher. An expert teacher then does what? In that illustration that I just described, what does the expert teacher do?
Use
Reflective. Reflective. How many of you will reflect on your day after you leave here? How many of you will assess the quality of your day? Was it worthwhile your time? How many of you will actually go and reflect on how you can use some of the things you learn to actually apply and practice? Reflection is a powerful tool, very powerful. And the most powerful thing about it is when I can get Nigel to reflect on herself, on what she can do. Not the outside circumstances. Well, if Damon would have done this, then I would have done this. If Joseph would have done this, then I'd have done that. If Mr. Ellaby had done this, then this could have been better. It's about how can I make it better? Reflection. Why else did I tell you that story like that? Why did I do that illustration? Where I did the assessments and all that kind of stuff. Where, was I collecting data? Yes. And did I just collect the data and post it on the wall and just say, "Ooh, this is our data. This is our data wall here"? Nigel? Improve the practice. Increase the capacity. Will we ever quite say that we accomplished the goal of always having the capacity at its highest or its maximum? No. No. Let me show you why. What is this right here? A heart? It's a symbol of a heart. And it's not just a symbol of a physical heart, but it's the spiritual, or whatever we want to call the intangible part of the heart that you feel and motion and all that kind of stuff. All right, now, I used to blow people away when I used to say this. I would come up to them before, I show them that and stuff, and I ask them, I'll say, "Michelle, how many people can you love? Or how many people do you love? How many people? Tell me." She's thinking. "Jordan, how many people do you love?" "You love everybody." She says everybody. All right. "Joseph, how many people do you love?"
I try to love everybody.
You try to love everybody. "How many people gave me a quantity?" Which means number. I forgot. I'm talking to people too that don't know. How many? Nobody gave me a number. Well, why in the world didn't anybody give me a number?
Because it's kind of hard to figure out how many people you love.
To put a number.
To borrow Michael Jackson's word, love conquers all.
Is it love conquers all? That's right. So are you telling me that your capacity to love is unlimited? It's infinite? So you mean to tell me if it's infinite, that means I can meet somebody today and know that they're a good person, and I can develop a level of love for that person?